Hi, welcome back to Aether. We're Paul and Satomi from Sakaso.ca. Today, we are sharing a big topic, about anxiety and how to calm anxiousness. Yeah, we all have some anxious moments here and there,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes it hit us very hard, and sometimes it's small, but still, all of us have pretty sure experienced anxiety, right? So we're gonna focus on how to calm, and including we sharing exercises and some stories, our anxiety stories. So yeah, let's jump in. And if you guys watching, and if you have any questions or some comments you want to share, please feel free to leave comments and questions there. We'll try to answer the questions as much as we can. Okay, so you you have lots you want to share, right? About anxiety. I have anxiety
Yeah.
stuff too, but he's like, I'm gonna share some stories. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of the family expert on it, I would say. So yeah, I have a long history with this particular subject, as far back as I can remember. I I didn't know what it was. I just grew up with it. It was there. Things happened when I was very young. Some of them I don't even remember. But basically, we all have these kind of things where there's pressures in our lives, or there's events from our past that are very painful, that have caused us, trauma or whatever. Just it could be just a big experience. It may not necessarily be traumatic, but you don't want it to repeat, and you don't want, and we anticipate the future. We don't want that stuff to happen again, and so we get anxious. We get into a place where we're always trying to stop the bad stuff from happening, right? And in the world that we live in today, there's so much of that going on, right? There's so much of the institutions that we used to rely on in our world, so much of the way the society functioned economically, having a job, a career that you could rely on, all that kind of stuff used to be more dependable than it is now. So there's so many more sources of anxiety than we used to have, and it's really hard on people. So we get it. It's not easy to just be in this world right now. Yeah, and in my own case, I guess the path that I took, I went through this stuff as a kind of slowly unfolding crisis for my almost, whole bunch of my life, decades of my life. Starting with early childhood. My family was a very interesting family. They were wonderful in some ways, but in other ways, oh boy. Um, yeah, I experienced some trauma when I was young, and it was, my family was kind of like a slow motion train wreck that just kept happening and happening and happening and happening. There was one disaster after another, and my family was my whole life. For everybody, it's like that, but it was a very, very strong family that we had, very strong, in spite of all that stuff. It was kind of crazy. It was a big family. But the weird thing is that in a lot of ways, I was looked to as the one to try to fix it. So like people were fighting, and I would be the one who was in the middle trying to create peace, right? Somebody was having trouble, and I was the one who went and talked to them and tried to help them through it, right? So, and I was just a kid, right? Or, kid or teenager, whatever, right? Young adult, the whole thing. And that stuff was hard because I couldn't stop the train from wrecking. It was that you can't, you know, as a kid, you don't have the tools for one thing. I didn't know what to do. For another thing, you can't save people from themselves. So it was a source of enormous anxiety and trauma for me over the years to live through that. And I ended up, I had other issues with depression and stuff like that too. Just stress. It was just through the roof. I was graying in my 20s, my early 20s. It was a good amount of gray going on. So yeah, a little bit of stress, huh? So that was interesting. Yeah. I mean, like, I think it's grade 9 where you're supposed to do a presentation to the class, right? On some topic, and I picked some weird topic. I was just absolutely mortified. Like everybody's terrified of public speaking. I had a whole new level to it. So I did manage to get through it, but I don't know how many people heard what I was saying, right? Or if I had no memory, really, I kind of blanked out through the whole thing, but I did manage through it. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty intense.
So you felt anxiety. You didn't know back then when you were
I didn't know what it was or that I had it. It's just normal for me.
As much as you can remember, as far as you can go back, you think you had anxiety.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And then it started from your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then for kids, like all the kids, family is their world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if family is carrying some anxiety, you will get it. And then you being in the middle and trying to fix it, and of course not gonna work.
Yeah.
And then anxiety gets bigger even.
Yeah, it grew and grew. It became more and more kind of epic as the Shakespearean tale kind of unfolded, and and kind of everybody died in the end, almost, almost.
And then you don't know how to calm anxiety, right? You didn't know how to deal with it, right? You thought it was normal to feel that way, because you didn't know any other way, and so you didn't deal with it. Of course, it just getting bigger and bigger, and it just stays there. Yeah.
There's one fortunate thing about the world we live in now, that with the internet, younger people can go online and search for stuff, right? Search for help with stuff, right? Yeah. Back in those days, we had nothing like that, right? Yeah. It was the only option would have been counseling, I guess, and my family was dead against that, right? Absolutely, that was a no-go. Yeah. So,
like here in Canada, counseling is way accepted. Well, like go counseling, right? When I was a kid and in Japan, it's nothing. Like I didn't even know such a thing, right? I could have used counseling probably when I was a kid, but nothing. Probably there are some, but it's nothing, anything close to a popular thing like school counselors. No, we didn't have that, right? And I don't have anyone that I can remember went to counseling when I was a kid, right? When I grew up, when I was adult, maybe I start to hear counseling, but not for kids, right? Yeah. So it's tough when you don't know where to go to get help, how to reach out, but so we do have lots of tools, and we know how to do it, but we just forget, just being anxious, and nobody's reminding us how to do it, and then we forget and we don't use it, and then we just stuck in anxiety. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, there was an event that occurred that was kind of a crystallizing event, but it wasn't like the thing. I mean, there was like my brother he was into creating things, doing metal work and stuff like that. and he created this water pump one time, and we were trying to install it out in the woods, and we had to, it was packed on top of a vehicle and all that kind of stuff. And I was unpacking it. I had no instructions. I had no idea what he had made. It was like this weird contraption thing, and I was trying to get it down so you get everything else off of the roof of the vehicle, right? When you go out camping, you bring all kinds of stuff. So I was trying to untie it and get it down. And when I was in the middle of that, I untied the wrong thing, the wrong thing, and it just, there was this rebar, right? You know, that metal rebar they use in construction. There's this long piece that he had it bent to be straight when it wanted to be, you know, completely off and really, really broad. And when I undid it, it snapped and just went right for my forehead, right? I blacked out, right? So I got a concussion from that, and so that was traumatic. And I remember at the moment that as I realized I'd untied the wrong thing, I had this flash of realization, or just kind of like a very strong determination on my part. I've got to really watch these guys, is kind of what I said, right? Because
it's not safe.
It was not safe, right? Yeah, it's not safe, basically, is kind of the message. And then the hit me, I blacked out. That kind of crystallized a lot of other traumas, because it can come in so many different ways. Like an accident like that, right? People get into car accidents, and that's bad, right? And that can be really traumatic and create PTSD, right?
And it stays there.
Yeah, exactly. That's just one way to get PTSD, is from a traumatic extreme event like that. But you can also get it from other things, right? You can get it from long-term, you know, really negative.
Little things, but if it's happening every day, constantly, like people's negative words.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
Or just simple that, right?
Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm not good enough, and then you repeat that over and over in your head.
If you believe it.
And the people
when you're bombarded and you're little,
when you're little,
you absorb it and you believe it.
You believe in those big people's words, right? And then you start to believe, and then you reinforce the thoughts over and over in your head, and then it becomes subconscious program, and then like you're getting hit in the head, and that this is not safe. Anything can be harmful, right? I have to watch everything and to be safe, right? And then it becomes a subconscious program, and being anxious all the time.
Yes,
right?
That's exactly what happened. All those things you said are exactly what happened. And that so what happens when you have those different ways, you know, people's judgment is another thing, right, that you can throw in there, right? If you're always subjected to people's judgment and being torn down, like you're saying, like you're not good enough and all that kind of stuff, hurtful words of any kind, right? Those things can be really traumatic, and that can create PTSD. And what happens in those situations is you lose your sense of safety, right? So, like, you know, Maslow's pyramid, right? That's if you just look it up. It's basically it's a theory in psychology where you need your basic needs met first, like you need food and shelter and stuff like that. Then you need safety, you need security, like you need a place that protects you in some way to live in. You need financial security. You need people around you that can help, that kind of thing. The purpose of everything at that level, at the second level in the pyramid, is just safety, right? Higher levels, and you've got to have those things, those basic ones met before you can even focus on your concerns on other things. Right. You can't even really function at those other things, right?
Like finishing a task or achieving something is higher pyramid.
Yeah.
If you
Relationships, right?
yeah, relationship.
Love and relationship and all that kind of stuff. That belonging. That's the next level up, and then above that, then there's self-esteem and things like that, right? Feeling good about yourself and your accomplishments, right? Like you're saying.
Yeah.
And
But
then
if you don't have
higher
food
than
to
that.
eat right now and
Yeah.
nothing to drink, nothing to eat,
Mhm.
you don't think about the love toward others
Or,
and try.
you know, self
it's-
achieving your
Yeah.
highest potential, right?
Mhm.
You don't think about those things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the bottom of the
Self-actualization,
pyramid is very important. Food, and if you have food and the house to sleep in, the roof over your head, and the next one is safety, right? And if you don't feel safe, you can't not really move forward psychologically. It doesn't function that way,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So I was stuck,
Mhm.
and anybody who's got PTSD is stuck on level 2, basically, right? And you can't excel at those other things in your career, relationships, all those kind of things without until you have that sense of safety, right? You're always looking to fulfill that sense of safety, so you're always anxious about everything, right? And that brings in lots of negative behaviors, like you're always trying to control your environment, right? You're always, because you don't feel safe, you've got to have control, right?
Or running away,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
If you can, you run away.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where those behaviors come in. And so if you do have that PTSD, that sense of safety is just gone, right? And you're always trying to fulfill it. Your sense of calm, right? Peace, right? It's people who are dealing with anxiety. I hear you. I know. It's you just do not have any calm. It's never there. It's something that people talk about, and maybe you feel calmer at certain times, but truly, does it ever really reach real calm? If you've been impacted heavily by this kind of stuff, you don't. It's like invading thoughts come in. You try to meditate, and those thoughts come in about what could happen in the future. What, if I meditate and I go really far, could something go wrong, right? That comes in, it invades constantly, right?
You've been meditating
Yeah.
pretty much all your life, right?
Yeah.
And you still have anxiety.
I-
It helped,
it-
but
Yeah, I mean, it's been a process, right? It's been there's many levels to it. But I just want to say as well, before I move on to that, is that you also lose. Another thing that you lose is your sense of personal power. So in other words, you don't have a choice. You're always reacting to the environment. You are not acting. If in order to have your personal power and to do things effectively, to be really in your life and really live it, you need to be able to act. But if you have PTSD, you can't. You're simply reacting to everything that's going on.
right.
So you have no control.
Right.
And that's why you're desperately trying to reach for control, right? All the time. So those things are the things that you lose with it, right? And other things besides relationships, or it's hard. There's other things, but those are some of the key things that you end up losing. But yeah, like you're saying, it is a process, right? There's a long-term process that I went through, and what it came down to is, there were techniques that I learned that helped me, and I'll share one at the end, or before we finish. 4-7-8 breathing, right? It's a beautiful technique. It's very simple and it really helps. But as I worked on this for all my whole life, and like we were saying, meditation, right, and all those things, I did so many things to try to get through it, and those things that I did, they helped, but they did not cure, right? And it's a process, and there's levels to anxiety. You can get past one, and then you can think you're done, and then something else can bring up a different a different dimension to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's more subtle because the first one was really in your face,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what these things are, sorry, what were you going to
Yeah.
say?
No. So like a meditation, we're not saying. I'm not saying meditation doesn't help.
No,
It does
it
help,
does. Yeah.
right? And then it brings you to certain space, brings you up to certain level, like less anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and then you feel like, am I cured? Am I healed? And actually, not so much,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then next thing comes up, and then if you keep doing the same thing, it might just take you up to here, and that's it.
Yeah.
You hit the plateau,
Mm-hmm.
and then you feel like you're stuck again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we want to try different things, right? And change around. Meditation is powerful tool, but sometimes you don't want to just keep doing the same thing over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
You want to change a little bit, be open mind, and reach out for help and ask other people who have anxiety and then healed, right? Listen to those people and then ask what they used, right? Sometimes the same tools that the other person used might not work for you, but they might have something that works for you, something new, and it works for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so you want to keep doing something different too. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's exactly right. And you were talking about those different levels you get to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each of those, it's what I discovered over time is that it's about limiting subconscious thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Trauma is a locked in subconscious thought. Basically, it's like saying you are not safe because blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because your world could fall out from underneath you, right? You're just
Mm-hmm.
out from underneath your feet at any moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I felt for a lot of my life. Or you're not safe because somebody could be upset,
Mm-hmm.
right? Somebody really important in your life could just trigger and get upset, right?
They're not upset right now, but
Yeah.
they could.
They could be, and that's
Yeah,
so
that's.
right. You
Yeah.
sit on the edge of your seat,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if those behaviors come up that trigger that person, and then oh no, right? You're in a different state again,
Yeah,
right?
or this food right in front of me, this could be
Mm-hmm.
poisonous,
Yeah,
right? Or just I might be allergic
or
to
allergic
this,
to it. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you don't know. It's just everything can be threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you are just living living in anxiety every moment, and that's exhausting, and that's you're not living your life, right?
Yeah.
Like you were saying,
Yeah.
you're just reacting, and then creates anxiety, creates more anxiety, and it just and then I think it was you or other people too, and then you are anxious. You can be anxious about you being anxious.
Yes, yes, you can. And you can be anxious about whatever you're doing. It gets even more complicated because you can be anxious about what you're doing to try to fix it, may not fix it, right? So you can be.
There's no way out if you get there.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. It can just you can go deeper and
go,
deeper. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So those thoughts like that, those if your world could fall out from underneath your feet, or that somebody could get upset all of a sudden that's really important in your life, and those things could trigger you, or you might not be able to get money into the bank in time, right? That kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff to pay your bills. Or you might lose your job, right? That's a big one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I can tell you about that one because that's another source of issues for me for in my previous careers. So those thoughts are subconscious programs. Like we we dream them up with our conscious mind, right? We think like, oh no, this could happen, right? But then once we keep doing that, it becomes a subconscious thought. That's one way to do it. Or with that, big triggering event, like you getting hit in the head, right? That can also just create that subconscious program, just like that, right? And those ones that are like based on fear like that, those are limiting subconscious thoughts, right? What could happen? Oh no, this could happen, right? Those limiting subconscious thoughts come into your life, and because your subconscious mind is so powerful, right? Just 95% of everything that's going on inside of our consciousness is subconscious, and it's hard to really get our heads around that, because what are you talking about? In our minds, we have all kinds of ideas, right? We solve problems, we do puzzles, we drive, or we learn to drive, we learn to walk, and all that kind of stuff. And we're using our conscious mind in order to achieve those things, right? And we have emotions, and we're like we have our willpower, right? And we do things with our willpower, but those things are conscious, right? And that our conscious mind is really loud and tends to take up the whole space, right? It's that your conscious mind is the guy you invite to the party who just keeps talking and loves the sound of his own voice, right? That's your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is everybody else in the room who's being drowned out. But those other people are very powerful, and those other things that are going on. When you do learn to walk, when you do learn to talk, when you do learn to drive, once you've learned it, you just put that into your subconscious mind. We're constantly putting stuff into our subconscious mind to just take care of it. We just delegate it, and we don't think about it anymore,
so
right?
it's automatic, right?
Yeah.
And then while you're doing something consciously, the rest of the thing subconscious can control, so you can just focus on one thing.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the rest of the world is
taken care of.
Yeah, taken care of.
It's just
You don't have to.
right? Yeah, exactly. That's the subconscious mind getting the whole rest taken care of, and
that's great.
It's great, and that includes all those other things, like I was saying, but also like digestion, healing. It includes all of our body functions. Really, it includes being able to walk in all and talk and all those things. So that's that 95%, right? And that is so powerful, having all that stuff in there. It's so powerful, and that's when we're trying to do something and we have trouble with it. Whenever we're in that situation, whenever we're like, we want to stop being anxious, right? We want to stop worrying. We want to have a quiet mind during meditation. We want to be calm, right? And we want to not worry about our job, right?
Yeah,
just
consciously.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that way.
Yeah,
right?
but it keeps coming back. And no matter what you're doing, pretty much, it keeps reinvading and coming back in there. And you get called into your manager's office and you get nervous, right? So it's like that, all that, palms, sweatiness and all that stuff, your fight or flight, that's all subconscious too, right?
Yeah.
So it's all there. It's an awful lot of strength in that subconscious mind, a tremendous amount of power, that 95%. When you're trying to overcome it with your 5% of your conscious mind, it becomes an unfair fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Normally, like you something you have to try so hard, and then that's subconscious mind and conscious mind is not aligned.
Yeah.
Something it's easy.
Yeah.
Right? Easy to do. That's when conscious mind and subconscious mind are aligned. Then it's easy.
Yeah.
Right? For other people, it might not be easy. For you, it's easy because your conscious mind and subconscious mind aligned. But something that for other people, they can do it so easily. They can be calm, like they're not anxious. And I'm so anxious. That's when subconscious mind is programmed to be anxious.
Mhm.
And then how hard you try, it doesn't matter, because 90%, 95% of your mind is, no, this is time to be anxious,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so it is hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're all of us are facing some kind of fight like that, right? And when it comes to anxiety, that's just one big example.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much a part of our lives, right? And but to get past it, so how do you get past it, right? So what do you do? What did I do? What did I do to heal from it? What did I do to heal from the PTSD, from just being anxious about everything all the time? Well, like I said, it's in stages, but I did it through our program, through Sakaso, right? And it's a very unique and it's a powerful approach because basically it's able to, but with your abilities as a psychic, right, as an intuitive empath, you're clairvoyant, you're able to correctly identify what it is that is holding me back. You're able to help me with that, right? You're able to say, oh well, you're getting triggered by this, right? And then I was able to, okay, what do we do next? Well, once we know what it is, that's the only time when you can actually fix a problem is when you know what the problem is in the first place, right? So, and that's what you're able to do is be able to correctly diagnose what the problem is, and then we're able to go in and do something about it, and that's the second step, right?
Like changing subconscious mind,
Yeah.
right? Reprogramming your subconscious mind, and so one by one you let go
Yes.
of the anxious,
Yeah.
the cause of the anxiety, right? And yeah, for some people it's just one subconscious change and done. Some people has layers, right? And then they go through, but one by one, and you get rid of, you let go of the anxious thoughts and worry and concern and fear, right? And it can come from so many different angles, like a relationship with your family, relationship with your partner, right? And relationship in the workplace, right? Lots of different things, and the trauma, like a car accident and those things. And it can go back to even your past lives, right? And
that's what you see, right? You see all of those things you just mentioned. If and I had those issues, right? I had problems with the way I related to people, right? To our kids, to you, to the way I related to my work, right? The way when I would sit down and do work, one key indicator is like perfectionism, right? Oh boy, right?
Oh boy.
Everything had to be perfect, right? It had to be just right.
And then there's no perfect for you, right? There's no
like, it could always be better.
It always can do more, more, and there's no end, right? And then by doing that, you're creating more and more work, and then you're not meeting the deadline, and then get frustrated. Oh, I'm not meeting a deadline, but this is not good enough, and it's just right, and more anxious, and
and it would get worse because I have to do it perfectly, right? And that would make it slower, and then it would be the deadline coming, and there's more to do, and exactly. So it builds up, and then I blow up, right? At some point, I get upset, and
but you let go of that.
So you were able to see that because I couldn't, because I'm in the middle of it, right? That's the thing, when you're in the middle of it and you're so close to it. We can get so close to our biggest problems, and you know this from relationships, right? When people are in, let's say you have a friend, they're not in such a great relationship, but no matter what you do to give them hints or anything like that, they just don't get it because they're too close to it to see it, right? And that's if you grow up in a family that has issues, to you that's your normal, so you don't see it, right? So you create relationships like that as you get older, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're able to see all of that stuff just like that, right? Because of your gift.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to see into that, and it comes from past lives as
Mm-hmm.
well, like you
Mm-hmm.
said,
Mm-hmm.
because we carry over those patterns from past life stuff that we work through too,
Yeah.
right?
And then like you come to this life
Mm-hmm.
to let go of your the thing that you got from the past,
Mm-hmm.
right? The lesson, unfinished lesson,
Unfinished lessons,
right?
Yeah.
That you want to finish the lesson
Mm-hmm.
in this life, so you are carrying that negative programs,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in this life, you have a chance to let go, right? But that's lots of times that's the biggest
Mm-hmm.
issue or biggest lesson, and then biggest struggle lots of people have, that's from the past life, because this is the reason why you are here to learn.
That's why we create the circumstances in this life, is so
and
that we can
give ourselves a lesson.
give ourselves a lesson
Yeah,
to finish what we didn't learn in the previous
yeah,
life,
and so we can grow.
so we
right.
can grow.
Yeah.
It's not just repeating the same
No,
problems.
no,
It's we can carry stuff over from a
Mhm.
previous lifetime because, like you said, something's unfinished.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, and then because we want to grow, we want to learn, we'll give ourselves that big lesson,
Mhm.
right? So lots of times that struggle and the negative program comes from the past life,
Yeah.
and then we don't remember. Most of us don't remember, right? And so then how to fix it?
The past life, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
past life. And,
But
how
that's-
to fix how to fix
But
it?
that's
It's-
there. It's in
yeah,
our
it's there.
subconscious,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
So that makes it even trickier to let go of anxious subconscious mind, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because it's pretty hard to find that what that problem is,
Mhm.
and then people end up being really frustrated about those ones. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they try so many different things
Mhm.
and not working.
Mhm.
Yeah, big chance that it's coming, you carrying from the past life.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But so yeah, and then so you find the cause, and then change subconscious
Mhm.
programs, and then like I said, one by one you are free from it,
Mhm.
right? And then become less anxious and less anxious,
Mhm.
taking one step at a time, and it does work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways to shift. That's the second step in our process. Is what you're talking about now. Is in Sakaso is the subconscious shift, right? So once you identify what the limiting subconscious thought is, that program or belief, whatever language you want to use, once you identify it, then you want to be able to shift it from one that's disempowering to one that's empowering, right? And you can do that through a lot of different ways. You can do that by just shifting your behavior, by changing your behavior patterns, right? That's one way to do it, because that's how we get into that stuff in the first place a lot of times. But that takes a lot of work, and that takes time.
It can be done,
It can be done.
because that's how you, like you said, that's how we
Create
program
the program.
subconscious.
Yeah.
So
That's how we
can
learn
do-
language. That's how we
Yeah.
learn to walk. We learn to walk by trying and trying and trying and keeping at it and practicing. We get more and more stable on our feet, right? So so you can learn a different way, right? By changing the way you do it.
Yeah, but lots of us want to change right away.
Yeah.
Right? And then creating habit over years,
Yeah.
like we did,
Mhm.
and then this is who we are,
Mhm.
right? And we create habit from doing one time, and the second time, third time, and 1,000 times, and millions times, and then here we are, right? But to undo it, and we know this is not good, and we want to change it right away, and then try to create a new habit. We get impatient
Yeah.
lots of times,
Yeah.
right? And then it's not working,
Yeah.
and then we go back to
That's one of the downfalls
Yeah.
of using that approach. Is it we can get fed up with not making as much progress as we want to
Yeah.
make, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
But it can be done.
it can be done.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we also use other methods,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we use PSYCH-K.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the methods that we use. It's very effective.
Mm-hmm.
PSYCH-K is extremely good at step 2 in our process,
Mm-hmm.
at creating that subconscious shift,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we love using that one.
Yeah, and it's very precise. It's very quick, very gentle. The people who are doing it, they're in complete control, right? When we're facilitating that, we're not in control. We're just simply suggesting and guiding through the process, right?
Yeah.
And the person who's doing it, they're the ones in complete control, which is a beautiful thing about it. And you're completely awake. I mean, you can do hypnosis, but it's a very different kind of thing, right? It's being done to you, right? And either it works or it doesn't, but it's done to you, right? So that's another. I mean, there's lots of other approaches as well for creating subconscious change. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is powerful. And then once you create that subconscious change, now 95% of the mind is with you, right?
Yeah.
Instead of against you.
Yes.
And then conscious mind and subconscious mind align.
Yeah.
Now you are using 100% of your mind power instead of 5 and fighting against the 95, right? So things become easy and smooth, and then so that's
and that gives you the opportunity then, right? So now you have the ability to change much more quickly and easily. But that brings us to step 3, right? In Sakaso, step 3 is making the change in everyday reality in your life, right? And what that means means changing habits, right? So if, like for me, if I do a subconscious shift where I'm not anxious about how perfect my work is, right? When I'm doing my work, right? So if I let go of the perfection in some way, right? But then if I then go back to working exactly the same way, where I spend hours doing everything, making it all perfect, I'm not going to make any difference, right? It doesn't make, so who cares if I did step 2, if I just go back to the same habits, right? So that's where step 3 comes in. You have to be able to shift your habits, right?
And it's easy to
now
change.
it's easy.
Yeah, it's easy, right? Because
Before,
your subconscious mind is aligned and then with you. Right? Before you couldn't do it. You just need a little reminder. Oh, this is good enough.
Yes.
Right? And then your subconscious mind agrees. Oh yeah, so I can stop. I can have a break. Before the shift, you're like, no, this is not good enough, and then you just keep going.
Keep going,
right? But after the subconscious shift, like you could go into just automatically just go into the keep working, right? But just have a reminder for yourself, and oh yeah, I can stop here, and then you can check yourself. Oh, I'm okay with stopping here, right? And then just create a pattern that support that subconscious shift, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then everything start to change. But if you go right back into the same old pattern, then you wouldn't feel the difference, the change. So
exactly, right? Because the subconscious shift basically creates the opportunity for change. It makes it so much easier. Before you're fighting, right? Like you said, but now that you made the shift, it's easier. But you still do need to shift your patterns. And you still need to take the step of actually doing things differently, and then building that new habit, right, over time. And it gets easier and easier, and you then now I don't need to make everything perfect, right? That is huge by itself. That's just one little measure of the improvements that I've made.
Opens up now. It opens up lots of different opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Before you were like this, and then you from my eyes, you're wasting time, you're wasting energy, and then you just being in a negative.
And you didn't like the space I was in because it was so tunnel visiony, and
and you forget everything. Everything else doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Just this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I have to finish this, and then he can never finish that because never enough, right? And then everything else is out of the window, and then just
Yeah.
right. And then, but once you shift it,
Yeah.
and then stop where it's good enough,
Yeah.
and then you're happy with it,
Yeah.
and then your awareness opens up
So much more, and see, have so many more, like, because that's what fear does, right? Fear is known to create this tunnel vision effect, right? So that all of your focus it becomes this intense focus that telescopes you down to just this little thing, and you're totally transfixed, and you're obsessed with getting this done, right? Whatever this is. But once you're able to let go of that fear, that anxiety, then your horizons open up, and you have so many more possibilities at your disposal. So many more possibilities at your disposal. It's a whole different way of living. It's like
more
it's
relaxed,
weird.
yeah,
It's weird.
and fun,
Yeah.
right?
Because I didn't know that way of doing things in the past, right? It was alien to me to be able to be actually relaxed
Relax and have fun,
and have fun and just be calm instead of being. I was very serious before, right? You should have seen me on camera before. Holy cow! Oh, the kids were laughing. It was funny. I mean, the very first video we ever did, we tried to film it, and oh my god,
we
looked
looked angry.
Oh yeah, I watched it back afterwards because like before I never was on camera, right? Just forget it, I'm not going to do it. But we tried to make this video, and I watched it back afterwards, and like I look so angry.
And then we showed it to kids, and then he was saying, "I look so angry. Do I always look like that?" And they said, "Yeah."
Yeah, I know, right? I was so shocked. Actually, that really set me back. I was like, "Oh my god, seriously? Am I like that?" Right?
Yeah.
And I was, right? I was so serious and angry looking all the time, right? Because of all that trauma that I'd been through. And then we went through this process, the Sakaso process, and one by one, I knocked down all those things that were causing all that anxiety, right? All that, the trauma was getting healed step by step, right? And slowly over time, released one step at a time. And it worked. It worked. And like sometimes those steps were big, right? Oh my God. Yeah.
You look angry not because you're angry, it's just the fear, right?
Yeah.
Something can happen, something could happen right now, and then he's tense, always tense and looking for hazard, right? That makes the angry look. It's not like he's always angry. It's not. It's just subconscious.
It was just the look on my face. Yeah.
But,
I wasn't. I mean, yes, there was anger that was buried, and that was part of the healing. But this was more about the fear. Yeah.
But so the subconscious shift, it's a very powerful one that we love doing it. But we can share other stuff that we use.
Yeah, we can't really do that on this, right? It doesn't really fit into this format. But we can share a very powerful technique that helped me so much. I can't tell you. These things are can be lifesavers to help you cope with bad situations, and that's what it was for me. This 4-7-8 technique, right? Basically, how it's so simple, right? It's just breathing. It's just a breathing exercise. It's very famous, and it's simply this. I'll just walk through it. You're going to inhale for 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, and then hold your breath for a count of 7. You do that right? Yep. And then you exhale for 8, right? So I'll just do it a couple of rounds here. So So in for 4,
Hold.
hold for 7, exhale for 8. And you just keep repeating that, right? And that works on your physiology, right? That slows you down and gets you out of that spiral. I mean, I used to suffer from panic attacks terribly. And that's another story I can tell you, but I use another technique for getting through that. Do we have time for that one?
Not sure. I just want to mention a little bit about this breathing. Like, if you haven't done this one, you might not feel the effect right away. This is practice, right? You want to practice,
It is, yeah.
and then you can do it every day. Just do for a few times, right? Full breath, do it, and that's it. That's good, but then you can do it many times throughout the day, and you might not
4
feel
cycles,
4
right?
cycles.
Yeah.
One out, breathe in,
4,
hold,
7, 8,
and
yeah.
then so 4 times you can do that, and throughout the day, anytime, right? And then practice doing that. The more you practice, easier it gets, and then that means that you can feel the effect right away.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, when I feel anxious and I do this, I don't know the exact reason why it's 4, 7, 8, but when I hold the breath, I do feel something is calming down, not just breathing in and out, but that specific holding part. It's you don't do it naturally, right?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is the holding.
So then it's just I feel the calming while I'm holding, right? So just feel your body while you're doing it, and then connect to your body, and that would help. But that's very good one. And then other one I just it's a short one. And the practice that you can do is like anxiety. This is always happens in your head. Is what if this happens? What if this happens?
That's
right?
constantly going on.
That's always going on. That's the anxious thoughts, right? But you can switch. You can play a game, right? And if you have what if this didn't work out? You can switch to what if this worked out, right? Just switch, right? What if he gets angry, right? You have that thought, and then switch to what if he was happy, right? Just practice switching, right? Every time you catch yourself having what if anxious thoughts, trying to switch to something positive, and that's a practice too. And then just do it and see where it takes you. This is very powerful one too, right? This is also subconscious change too. It's not that fast do it once and done process. It's not that, but it's a very good habit to switch off anxious thoughts, and you opening up the door, the opportunity for yourself, right? Instead of going small and no, this is not good, right? Hey, this might be good, right? So it's powerful.
You're just switching the script. Because you do get in that rut. It's horrendous. What if this could go wrong? What if that could go wrong? It just keeps going.
But what if it's going great, right? And then you want to do it, right? What if that person loves your presentation, right? And then not doing it, then you're missing an opportunity, right? So just do this exercise, what if it works out, right? And at the beginning it might not be easy again, but practice and just do it anyway, and see where it takes you. Yeah, it's very powerful. Yeah. So yeah, we got a couple exercises, powerful exercises, and again, of course, if this will help, these two exercises will help, but you are still feeling stuck, we can consider subconscious change, right? And it's powerful. We both did so many different subconscious change, and it helped, right? And yeah, we cannot.
If you just reach out to us at sakaso.ca on our website and schedule your free life breakthrough session, then we can go into whatever is affecting you, whether that is anxiety or whether it's some other issue, and we can come up with a plan. And there's different approaches that we can use to apply that our Sakaso 3-step Sakaso approach.
Yeah, it's like you have your power within you, right? And then those anxious thoughts, subconscious thoughts is limiting you, but it's that your power is there. You just need to let go, right? Let go one by one, let go of those subconscious programs that's not serving you anymore.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then your power as naturally comes out, right? And then you will feel like, oh, this is me, right?
Yeah, that's what's so weird, right? Is being on the other side is like, wow, I don't know what this is like. But it's always beautiful every single time, because that's what healing is. Healing isn't about achieving something. It's about letting go of what doesn't serve us anymore, right? And when we let go of things that are hurting us, we feel better.
Of course.
Right? If we let go of things that are limiting us, we feel empowered, right? And that's what this is really all about. And by healing from anxiety, what you're gaining is you're gaining your sense of safety. You feel safe, maybe for the first time in your whole life, right? And you're gaining that calm and peace, instead of that static that's always there, always disrupting your life.
Yeah, and it affects our physical body too, of course.
Yeah.
Right, and when you are being sick, and sometimes unknown reason you're sick and having this illness, right? That's could be from anxiety.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. As it was for me.
Yeah.
Like I that was linked to multiple serious illnesses, physical illnesses, simply because of the anxiety.
And then by letting go, the body, your mind feels safe, and body at the same time start to feel safe, right? And then it start to heal. If your body is not feeling safe, it doesn't do the healing work at all, because it's in a protection mode. And it turns off your immune system, right? And healing system. It's not working at all when you're in fear.
Yeah, because if you're traumatized, PTSD or just a general trauma, then you are literally still in that event. So whatever that traumatic event was, if it was a car accident, your subconscious still believes you're there. It never leaves that place. And so what do you do? What is your subconscious? Your subconscious controls your whole body, right? And all the things that are working inside it. And if it still believes you're in that accident, it's directing all of its energy into protection, into like, you've got to survive, right? And just get through this next moment, and then whatever, right? That's because all it's concerned about is right now. But if you're stuck there with the PTSD, then you never have the opportunity to go into growth and healing mode. You're just in protection mode, because you can only be in one of those two, right? Your body can only be in either one of those two. It can't be in both at the same time. So if all your energy is going to protection, you're not going to healing and growth, and that's why you get illnesses. And that's why anxiety is such a strong component of so many illnesses, right?
Yeah.
Or stress, right? You can say the same thing about stress, right? All the same reasons. So it's by healing, by letting go of that trauma, by letting go of that subconscious program that's attached to that trauma, then you finally leave the car accident, right? You're finally able to step away from it and leave it behind, and then go into your much needed rest and healing and growth, right? From there. So that's what it's all about. And we can, and our Sakaso program is ideally suited for that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, some comments about anything that we talked about, or about question about our programs, the healing programs, you can just contact us at sakaso.ca. And that's it for today.
Yeah.
So I guess now I'm just trying to find. I can't find it. This one. So we'll see you next week, Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And always questions and comments are welcome. And if you can't wait till next Sunday, I have Saturday YouTube live too, so I get mixed up. Sunday for this one. And if you can't wait till next week, you can always contact us at sakaso.ca. And we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.